Tanner. My gamer tag is TanTheMan13.
Hey everybody, it's Tyler, and welcome to the 4th New Leaf podcast.
Yep.
I'm joined here by Christian and Taylor.
Yo.
Hi.
And we are so enthused to be here today. Today we got a big lineup to talk about. A little bit different subject. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called gaming. And I'm really just throwing that out there, and hopefully we get something cool out of that. But, Taylor, how was your week today? This week?
Well, my week was interesting. Because...
Sounds cool. Next, Tyler, how was your...
All right. And back to you.
Anyways,
Well, my week was good.
Well, this week was interesting because the new, what's it called? What's the game after the old one called? Like the new installment of one of my favorite shooters came out in a beta form again. So I played the crap out of Hardline, and I also bought Dying Light, and I beat Saints Row 4, and then I worked out like always, and that's about it. What about you, Christian?
I did pretty much the same thing, actually. Played Battlefield Hardline, minus the Saints Row. Played Battlefield Hardline beta, played some Dying Light, and I also have been to the gym. And that's was pretty much it. Oh, no. I did play some of these Star Wars games that were in the most recent Humble Bundle, which were Star Wars Republic Commando and Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy were the two I played. But there's a big handful in there. There's Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Empire at War, all kinds of stuff. So those are all games I played as a kid, so I'm looking forward to playing a little bit more of those. And maybe I make some videos, I don't know, so the young generation can see what we old folks experience. But that was pretty much it for me.
Well, my week was pretty busy. Started some college, going to school, and I played myself some Hardline beta and thoroughly enjoyed that. I also bought the Star Wars Humble Bundle, but I haven't touched any of it yet. One of the crazier things that I did last week, actually just here recently, was I cleaned my gecko's cage out. Oh my goodness, it took forever.
Wow.
And it was quite the experience, but he has a whole new setup now, and it is pretty sweet. Got new plants and all that good stuff in it, so I have to work on my gardening skills as I have my pet's habitat just going all crazy. But I did that, bought DayZ shortly after the podcast last week, and I've already died in that, so I'm covered in humility here as I played this game. But yeah, so that was that was a lot of what I did this week. So, but last but not least, last night I went and saw Tripoli and KB in concert, and so that was a blast.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
How about you, Tanner?
Oh, this week was there wasn't much going on for me this week. Pretty much good. Still played some Infinity Blade 3. Trying, grinding, leveling up. Besides that, trying to deal with my toy business and trying to get on the new stuff. Yeah.
Trying to get on that new stuff.
No, I'm trying to get on the train where I can get the new stuff and not be behind. That's what I'm trying to do.
So you're not maxing out all your credit cards and going into debt?
No.
Oh.
No, I have a good savings account.
I thought we were supposed to do that.
Is this a financial peace podcast?
The Dave Ramsey podcast.
Dave Ramsey.
No. But is that all for everybody's week?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, that's it.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit more in depth about Battlefield Hardline, since we all played it. Me and Taylor are big fans of Battlefield series. Tyler, have you played much of the previous Battlefield games?
Yes, I'm a Battlefield nut as well.
A lot of people aren't really fans of Battlefield. Why do you think that is?
Because you have to actually be good at the shooter and have the ability to play the video game instead of running around mindlessly with an SMG shooting people, such as in Call of Duty.
But you have to work as a team too. Like,
I don't necessarily agree with. Well, I mean, yeah,
Taylor,
you can win.
You can definitely win not playing as a team, but it's for sure miles better if you play as part of the team. Taylor,
with a squad.
Why don't you share the story that we experienced when you got mad this week when we were playing it?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Let me tell you. Oh, I know what you're talking about. All right, well, this is like day 5 of 7 of the beta, so you would think that most people had got into it already and played a little bit of it. I think I'm like a level 40 at this point. And we spawn into a helicopter, full transport helicopter. And, we're going up in the air and we're shooting at people. And out of nowhere, our helicopter just starts dipping towards the earth slowly. So we bail out. I don't know if Christian and Graham survived, but I survived. And we look up on the water tower, and our level 2 pilot jumped out of the helicopter just to get on top of the water tower with a sniper rifle. Now this infuriates me because this happens a lot.
So mad.
Because this happens a lot in Battlefield where people use the helicopter just to get to a high vantage point when really the helicopter can be a dominating force in winning or losing a Battlefield match.
Especially we're playing the Hotwire game mode, which is it's like a domination, but the cars are the capture points. So if you have the helicopter, you can be chasing out cars, blowing them up all across the map. It's really
and getting points and winning the game for your team. So So, in spite of my better judgment, I invited this person to our party chat, and he joined. And I was, I had like a little bit of a brash tone to my voice, and I said, "Hey, Troy." I didn't sound like that. I sounded way more hateful, but I said, "Hey, Troy," and he responded, and he sounded like an 11-year-old.
He's like, "Yeah, what's up?" He's like a little.
He sounded so happy because someone invited him to the party chat. And I lit him up. I absolutely lit him up. And I was like, I don't even remember what I said. It wasn't anything like horrible. I was just pretty much telling him how stupid it was of him to do that and how mad that made everyone and how we probably are going to lose the game because of him.
Oh my goodness.
I kicked him out of the party as soon as he was done with his rant.
He probably was like, cause he was like a level 2, so he's probably like, oh, someone wants to be in my squad, and then he joins the party chat and then just gets destroyed, and so that happened. So
no mercy.
Oh, never,
dude,
never either.
I haven't heard Taylor this mad in a long time. I was mad too, but it was just.
Well, I just get frustrated when I don't know because my guy that lives next to me. I saw him later that day at like noon or so when he was going to work, and he was like, "Hey, I'm trying to sleep because I work during the day." So he's like, "Can you like not yell like you did this morning?" I was like, "What was I saying?" And he's like, "You're just really mad at someone and you were screaming." I was like, "Oh, my bad." So apparently everybody could hear me doing that, which is fine. But so I guess in that aspect of it. The teamwork is a vital key to success in Battlefield, really. Because, in Call of Duty, I can, and you can, and any of us could go into a game and go like 35-6 and win team deathmatch for our team just because that's just how it works.
Well,
but
a lot of people I don't think really care about winning the game in Call of Duty. They don't really care about winning or losing. They don't care about the objectives. They're just trying to get their KD ratio up. And that's not the case.
But that's also the point in Battlefield, though, in my opinion, for snipers. Now, Tyler is an exception because Tyler cares about our team when he's sniped, at least when I've played with him.
Yeah, I really watch and try to, I manage my KD ratio if I can, but I'm not going to I'm going to start playing more safe if I went out as an assault and got killed 50 times. I'm like, all right, I'm going to snipe the rest of the game or something like that. So,
I don't really care. like I'll run after the objectives because that's the point of the game. I want to win the game. So,
right. I mean, actually my favorite thing to do is like go on rush and then be an attacking sniper. I love doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and stuff like that's fine. Like if you're sniping for the benefit of the team, then you know what, then do it. But if you're like that guy on the water tower where you're not going to help the objective of blowing up vehicles and driving them by sniping on a water tower, then don't. What are you doing? So,
well, let me say this more about like the actual game, because a lot of people are probably thinking what I was thinking, like, oh, it's just another Battlefield game with a cops and robbers skin on it. And I played it wasn't an alpha, I don't think. Maybe it was a beta, maybe it was an alpha, I'm not sure, on the PC last year. I think it was sometime in October, November, maybe. And it was like one game mode where there was the cops and the bad guys. The bad guys were trying to break into this little...
It's called Heist.
No, it wasn't that. There's like this one little thing on the map, and the robbers run up, or thieves, whatever you want to call them. They run up to this, it's like a cart with a bunch of money in it, like about to go into a vault. And the robbers run up to the cart, and they sit there, and you hold X to get money, and you're constantly taking money out. So you can run up there and grab like $200 and then take off, or you can sit there the whole time and grab like a couple $1,000 and take off. And you try to get it back to a getaway car, which was pretty fun. I hope that there's a version of that in the final game. But after playing a couple of rounds of it, it was like, yeah, these are like the same, like the weapons are the same as Battlefield. It's, and the cops are trying to basically stop the robbers from doing this, and they like recover the money as evidence. But after I played a couple of games, like, yeah, this is not really fun. I don't really want to play this anymore. It's kind of the same thing as Battlefield, just with a skin on it. So I heard a lot of complaints along those same lines. So I wanted to try this beta out just to see what was different. And let me tell you, it is so much different, way better. Actually, I think I like this game, how it's set up as far as unlocking stuff and the game modes. I kind of like this better than the military Battlefield. What do you think, Taylor?
Like, do I like the progression system more, I guess is what you're asking me?
I mean, overall, I like this one better than the more traditional Battlefield games. I
guess. The only thing I saw that was kind of, I guess it's good because in the old Battlefield games, you know, I'm like on the beta, I had like the gold plated like 500 kills for the M16, but just because I maxed out my assault rifle class, I was still getting points towards whatever else I wanted, not just that one specific class, because I was getting cash and not.
Yep.
It's not like because if you look at my Battlefield 4 classes, everything on my assault is maxed out, and everything else is like a level 1.
Yeah. Like
nothing. Because all I do is revive and heal people, and that's what I always enjoy doing, so I don't play as anything else.
And what I would do is I'd just play as one class, and I'd unlock everything and be like, okay, I'm done with that class, so I'm going to play as this class now. So I felt like I didn't really want to play as the classes I had already unlocked stuff for because I wasn't getting anything for it.
Yep.
So I do like this one where it's the money system. You can sit there and play the assault or the operator class as much as you want and unlock stuff for all the other classes with the money. Like, especially in the other Battlefield games, the sniping, the beginning sniper rifles were always bad. Like, I was always bad with them. But you had to use them to unlock the better sniper rifles. But that's not the case in this one. You can play as the operator and with the assault rifle and build up enough cash to unlock the best sniper in the game and then use that. So I do like that a lot.
Yeah, I like the new progression system. I think for me, I didn't play it enough to where it wasn't let me rephrase that. I didn't play it enough to see that many differences between a normal Battlefield 4 game and it. Like, there are things that are different about it, but to me, it just felt like Battlefield did it right. I mean, it doesn't, it's not like totally revolutionary in my mind. Like the game modes are cool, but I feel like any Battlefield can put out the game mode. So like it just, I think that it's a good skin of it, and it just, I like the retooling of the, weapon system and upgrading and stuff like that. But, basically I thought Battlefield was good. I think that there was a lot of things that were very similar, and so I enjoyed it. Just for the similarities, it did feel like Battlefield had a new twist on it, which was cool. I definitely enjoyed sniping. The only thing I didn't enjoy is that I didn't have the option to buy a bipod with at least the starting sniper rifle. I don't know about the other sniper rifles, but I enjoy having the option to have that, because there's some games where I'm going to be sitting on, like in Battlefield 4, I'd be sitting on a mountain or something, and I don't care about muzzle flash when I'm that far out. I care about my stability and being able to shoot accurately.
That wasn't an option at all in any of the attachments?
Not that out of the first sniper rifle that I used. I mean, I never built up enough money to get any other, like rifle. And plus my other issue is I hate it when it's a, Counter-Strike does this too, but I don't like, weapon system. When you're Russian, you have certain Russian weapons you can use, and when you're American, you have certain American weapons you can use. Like, I understand that is like true to form, I guess. And that accuracy of it's pretty cool, but I don't want to buy a gun that I can only use for one side of the game.
Well, if you get enough kills with that one gun, you can use it for the other side.
Yeah, you get a weapons license. Like, I had that for the M16. It's a cop weapon, but I had like 500 kills or whatever. So when I was a criminal, I could use it. Or 300, yeah. When I was a criminal, I could use it. So.
Okay. See, knowing that helps me tremendously, because I just did not want to go through.
I totally agree, because the criminal weapons for the assault rifle class suck, in my opinion, so.
Yeah, I didn't like them.
I completely agree with that statement.
Each class, like or not class, but the team-specific weapons, some are definitely a lot better in certain categories than others are, so it is cool that you can unlock them for both sides. But Tyler, I kind of disagree with you as far as the game modes. I think they are pretty revolutionary. Like, I can't really think of another game that, like Hotwire, that has mobile capture points, so you have to be driving a car in order to keep the point captured. And Heist, I mean, I've played stuff like that. It's probably more like most comparable to Payday 2, but you're not playing against players in that. I think it's just so cool, like one team trying to break into this bank to get this money and trying to bust out, like blowing holes in the wall or the ceiling or whatever to get out. I think that's probably the best game mode that I played. I didn't even try the Conquest because I'd assume it's pretty much the same thing as all the other Battlefields, but Hotwire and Heist definitely, I think, were really like kind of fresh ideas that I liked a lot.
Yeah. See, my problem is I'm pretty sure that I have played a game where the capture points are mobile before. And so I just can't remember off the top of my head, but like I remember when I played it, I was like, this is cool, but it had like I reminisced, like there was something about it that it felt familiar to me, like I'd played it in another game. And so that's why it wasn't like anything special to me, because it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's just for some reason, whatever game I played here recently, it has that in it, or something very similar to it. And so that's why, like, it just didn't hit me. Like, I love the game mode. I thought it was a blast.
So it was a recent game that you played that had that?
I think so.
I can't think of anything like that. I don't know. It didn't feel familiar to me, I guess. Well, I mean, it's different than just the kind of copy paste game modes that everybody has. Like, everybody's got capture the flag, or like a domination type where you got to capture or control these points, or team deathmatch. Like, every game has the same modes, so it doesn't matter what you're playing, you're always playing the same game mode. So it was kind of nice to be to have something different than you're playing in this. It wasn't. It wasn't the same to me. To me, it wasn't the same as a lot of other stuff that I played recently. So that's why I. Really
I do want to agree with the fact that I also want to say I played a game where there's a mobile capture point, and I can't remember what it is.
If we think of it, we'll definitely mention it in like either later in the podcast or later. We'll try to figure it out.
I know.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like I'm sure there has been a game that's done that, but if it's not like, oh yeah, I played this game and this game and this game that had that in it. It's still something that's fairly.
Oh yeah. I mean, and with the Battlefield feel to it, it's going to be totally something different than any other game can produce because Battlefield is just an experience in its own. But I think that you guys are totally missing the biggest breakthrough, in my opinion, for this game.
What is that?
Which was, on Battlefield 4, I always like to play hardcore because the hit detection has never been great, and the weapons have always been spotty with the damage that they deal.
Oh yeah, and it's always been kind of slow with kind of running around and vaulting over stuff, and the vehicles have always been. That's just what Battlefield is known for, is kind of the glitchy nature of it, but it's still fun.
Right, but now I told Christian this when we were playing. I don't really think I'm going to need to play hardcore if they have one because the Hardline's hit detection is flawless in my opinion. There was never a time when I was shooting a bad guy where I felt like I was hitting him with like rubber bullets. I always felt like I was somehow making an impact on his health or something around him. Because I know you get like a suppression assist in Battlefield 4, but if I was getting shot at and I was aimed down sights, I could not shoot my weapon because it was so like pingy off my screen and making me like shake and make me a nervous wreck or whatever. Like I couldn't hold my aim straight, and I guess I'm happy for that because that's always something that's frustrated me in the past.
It's definitely the whole. I don't know really what they've done to improve it, but the whose experience of it is a lot smoother, I guess is probably the best.
Yeah, the whole game is just a lot smoother now. I mean, it looks a lot better. There's things that, I mean, it looks the same, it just looks better, I guess you could say. But that was my biggest thing was the hit detection. So I'm really glad that worked out how it did.
All right, that's enough for Battlefield Hardline beta. I do want to talk about Dying Light for a little bit. Me and Taylor played it, but Tyler, I guess, has not. And I want to...
He doesn't have an Xbox.
Xbox disc is messed up. The reader is, so we are sending it in. We have sent it in. Waiting on it to come back.
That sucks, but maybe we can talk more about PC stuff in the meantime. But... like I said, me and Taylor did play some Dying Light with one of Taylor's other friends. And I just wanted to talk about this real quick because this is the same developer that made Dead Island. And I played the first Dead Island, but never played any of the other ones. And I never finished Dead Island because I liked like kind of the atmosphere of it, but I just could not play it because of the combat. It seems like when you got close enough to hit a zombie with one of the weapons, it's pretty much all melee weapons. Is pretty much all it is. There's not really many guns. I mean, there's guns in the game, but it's not like you always have a gun just shooting everybody.
That's not necessarily true.
Well, at least from what I played in the first one, it wasn't like that.
Well, you didn't beat the game, so.
Yeah, I know. I just said I didn't beat the game. Anyways, so you're picking up kind of these random like boards and pipes and stuff to use as weapons against the zombies. And it always seemed like if you got close enough to the zombie to hit it with the weapon, it was already hitting you. And so I just got to where I was just jumping around and kicking them, because that's another thing you do in the game, you just kick. And I would just jump around and kick them until I could get away from them, and I would just avoid combat altogether unless I could throw something or whatever, just because I would always die so fast when I ran up and tried to fight them. But this game seems like it's done a lot better. It takes, I don't know if the zombies are slower or if the player is faster, but you can run up and just start swinging on a zombie and take it down without it hitting you. And you're pretty much good most of the time unless you get kind of cornered by a bunch of them or you're stupid or something like that, or your fight one.
Just a zombie atmosphere, true to form. Like if you're a zombie by itself is nothing, but zombies in numbers can turn into a very big problem. So that's kind of just the aspect of it. But
I'm definitely. I thought the kind of the free running stuff would be more of a gimmick type thing. But I'm definitely having a lot of fun with it. It is fast running around. It's so smooth. Like you can jump on pretty much anything in the world. They did a really good job with that.
Yeah, and I also upgraded. You can upgrade your abilities to where you can jump off a pretty big building, and then when you hit the ground, do a somersault, so you can take some of the damage away from what the fall would have caused you. So it's pretty. The whole. Just all the mechanics of the running and the jumping feel really well. Jumping on top of the zombies, jumping in the air and kicking the zombies. And just the whole climbing aspect of it. I'm trying to think of another game that might have been first person like that had the climbing to it, but.
In Mirror's Edge, but that's a little different.
No, actually, I couldn't, I don't know why I couldn't think of it, but that's what I wanted to say. It is literally Mirror's Edge. That's what it is.
I never played Mirror's Edge, so I can't.
Well, I beat it. I beat it like 9 times, I think. But it is Mirror's Edge and a very cleaned up, pretty version of Dead Island put together, and it made for a phenomenal game in my opinion, so far at least what I played of it.
We haven't gotten very far in the story, so I do want to talk about it a little bit more next week. But I really feel like it's this is the game that they wanted Dead Island to be. I feel like. I think they were a little limited on the last gen console with what they could do, but this is like kind of the pinnacle experience of what they wanted to accomplish, at least I believe.
But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that more next week as we get further into it. So,
all right. Well, the question or the topic this week was on free to play games, and I don't remember if I tweeted this out on the podcast Twitter or not, but we did not get any responses back, which is fine. I think we can talk about it enough amongst ourselves. But do you guys, do you have much experience with this? Because it's not really that popular on the console, you could say. It's more of like a PC thing. But I think you're going to be seeing a lot more of those type of games come to the console. We've got Warframe on the consoles now. We have Smite coming soon. I can't really think offhand of other things that have been free to play on the console. And what I mean by free to play is not just like free to play or free game and that's it. It's just a free game. They give it to you. Free to play model is a game that's totally free. You don't have to buy it. You don't pay a subscription for it. And it's like a kind of a multiplayer thing, like a MMO or a shooting type thing. But it's the way that they get you is there's certain things in the game that you can pay money to unlock, but you can unlock, most of the time you can unlock the same things by playing the game and gaining the in-game currency. But most of the time it really feels like they're pressuring you so much to pay actual money to get the stuff to where it's like an unbearable experience where you'd have to play for hours and hours and hours to get just basic stuff that you can pay $3 and get right off the bat. Do you guys have much experience with these type of games? Taylor might not, but Tyler, you might.
No, I would. Yeah, I was going to say, Tyler, you talk, and Christian, you talk, and then I'll add on to what you guys say, because obviously I'm not a very big into the free-to-play as I play console predominantly. So,
well, I've been pretty big into free-to-play for the past like couple years, and until I'm going to start this sentence over. I have a lot of experience with free-to-play. I used to do it a lot more over the last couple years than I do now, and I'll explain my reasoning for that in a little bit. But Basically, I've played Warframe for a couple hundred hours. I played Warface a lot on Xbox 360, and that was a good free to play.
That was on 360.
Yeah, that's where I think it was on 360. Maybe I don't know if it was before PC or if they came out same time, but that's when I played it a lot, is because it came out for PC and for Xbox 360. So I really got into it. One of the things that I enjoy about like Warframe was just the ability to have different characters. You can get everything in game. It took you would farm all your stuff that you needed, your materials, and then you could actually create anybody you wanted as long as you got the parts for them and stuff. They're called blueprints. And so there's the free to play model, as Christian said, about forcing you to play or pay money because it'd be easier. It's definitely evident. It takes you 12 hours per blueprint on a Warframe character to build one. So you click start or whatever once you have all the materials, and then it takes 12 hours to do that. And so you have to have 4 blueprints for each Warframe. 3 of them are the 12-hour ones, and then one of them is actually a 3-day one, because it's there's a Warframe named Ash, and I built Ash. And so basically the first blueprint is him. This is Ash, this is the character. And then the 3 blueprints underneath that are his head, his systems that and then his body, basically, so that it you build pieces of him. But my problem with Warframe, my problem with Warface, and just so happens that even though Destiny is not free to play but falls under the same category now in my head, is the amount of farming for the stuff and the little reward you get, because you always have to have a little bit better armor to do a little bit better. And honestly, out of all 3, between Destiny, Warframe, and Warface that I have dealt with specifically, Warframe does the best job at rewarding you for your effort. Where Destiny, everybody's waiting for Xur to just have that weapon they want. And in my opinion, you'll never get it. I think that they bait you to play to get your stuff, and then maybe you get the one you want. It's all a gamble. Warframe at least has a way of look, this is how you get it. And they're all up front with it. I've actually invested money into Warframe. And so I was real big into it. And, so I think that now that I've gotten a little older, I've seen just the trap that farming is, and just the amount of effort and time I've put into it.
I think Taylor kind of hit the nail on the head earlier off the recording, but he said that...
What the heck did I say? I don't know. I don't know what I said.
You said the game is totally free, so it's no obligation. You can just download it, play it, whatever. But then you're oh man, I can just pay $10 or pay $20 to get this thing really quick, and it's oh, I didn't pay for the game, so it's fine if I just pay this. But it's
it's
not
what's
a
the
one-time thing. You have to do that over and over and over, because you pay money and it just gets you just a little bit to the next level. It's not
it's you're justified for buying the in-game content because I didn't buy the whole game, so
right.
And I think that's how most of them bait you, is oh yeah, you didn't pay anything for the game, so you can afford just $1 here, $1 there for this stuff, and it just piles up. A game that I think does it right, which if everybody's listening to the podcast, I'm not a huge fan of the game, but League of Legends, I think they really do the free to play model really well, because there's nothing that you need to play the game that costs money. You can play it you can play it as much as you want. You can play it for the rest of your life without spending a single nickel on it. But if you want, like, if you're really big into it, you want the skins and you want all this stuff, then you can pay money to get that. But it's not, you don't feel obligated to pay for stuff since the game was free. And I think that's the way to do it if you want to do it like that. But the games that are like, oh, you can, just for example, you can unlock this weapon or armor for, say, 10 in-game credits, or you can spend, or maybe not that, like, usually it's more ridiculous. It's like,
Christian, why don't you just use that as example, freaking Marvel Heroes, because I know that's what you can do in that game.
Well, Marvel Heroes is kind of different because the only thing you pay for is costumes for heroes and the heroes themselves.
Exactly.
It is kind of like they give you
the same thing.
Well, they give you a handful of heroes to start with, and then some of them you can play to level 10 before you have to unlock the full character.
See, exactly, right there.
Well, hold on.
No.
Listen. I have spent a little bit of money on Marvel Heroes because I wanted to play with Iron Man. Most of the ones that give you right off the bat are kind of either the lesser known or not as popular guys. But the cooler ones like Iron Man, Hulk, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, whatever, you pay like a certain amount of money to unlock the character, and then you can play them.
But the thing about that, let's say I'm a 10-year-old kid, okay, and I have Steam and I buy Marvel Heroes because I like superheroes, and the only way to unlock Spider-Man, like, let's say my favorite guy is Spider-Man because he is my favorite, by the way, but let's just say he's my favorite, and the only way to play with him at the beginning of the game is to spend $10. I'm probably going to be like, Mom, can I have $10 for my video game? And you've already paid $10 into a free game, essentially.
That's true, but that's if you have that attitude about it. I mean, they're constantly doing, I think like the second or third day that I got on there, they're giving away a hero for free. I mean, it's totally random, but still, they're giving away things that you pay for free. And then they're constantly doing like really big sales on the heroes, like buy one get one free, or buy one 50% off or whatever. And it's kind of both ways, I guess, for Marvel Heroes, because it is like that. You're like, oh man, I really want to play as this guy, but I have to pay money to get him. So there is that, but at the same time, they're constantly giving you stuff for free that you would pay money for. Whereas not a lot of the other games that are following the same model will do that. Like League of Legends, they will never give you a free costume for one of the characters.
I think that it has to do with just how they choose to bait you. Is the best way, like, because some, like Warframe, they will give you something free every day. And I've gotten some like sweet free stuff out of it. And the thing is, if you log in, one day you get like a lesser value item, but if you log in consecutive days, it actually builds up to where you get something better, to where you're getting a more expensive item for free. And I mean, it really can range from anything in that game, which is what makes it, I mean, kind of cool in some ways, because like, anything that's in Warframe you can actually get in the game without paying for it at all, which is why I think that game has the, and it's one of the ones I'm most familiar with. So, that's why I think it does the free to play model well, except the only thing I don't like about all free to play models is there's a randomness to it that, like, maybe they do drops where you have to get this, if you want this item, it has to be a random drop, or maybe you can only go, you can get an item for free, but you just don't know what it is. Like it's like gambling almost, in my opinion. Like there's a part of it. And so that's where, a lot of places give you free drinks while you're gambling. And so they're getting you to relax, you know, sit down, spend more money, do all this stuff. And so like with
you go to casinos a lot? Like how do you know that?
But because
that's like a well-known fact, and he's a big boy, Christian. Sorry, none of us were sheltered like you are.
Yeah, I don't know where Tyler was leading us on there.
Where's Tyler been, Tanner?
I don't know. I've not been keeping track of him.
Well, I just know that. So I am a big boy, and I have not been gambling on going to a casino to gamble, but I have been to casinos, and I've been on cruise ships, and there's casinos on cruise ships. Shocking.
That is
and so
me. I mean, like Hill said, I'm sheltered, so I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, I just feel like there's a point to where it becomes crack. And I mean that as there's a point where it becomes an addiction. And so you go from playing it because it's fun to playing it because you want something, playing it because you feel like you have to like log in to get what you want, or, you know, there's some drive to do it that like keeps you there. And so for me, I just like, I have to back out of that completely just because of my stance now about, if I want to play a game, I want to play a game that's not going to bait me. And I want good gameplay and stuff like that, but I don't want all the additions to go with it.
Yeah, that's true. Cause most of the time they're not bad games, but like you said, in order to get anywhere in the game, you just have to play. It's like you have to play nothing but that game just for days, weeks, hours, whatever, just on end. Just keep playing it. And eventually that's the only thing that you're playing in order to get anywhere in the game. So that's how they get you, is like, oh, instead of spending all this time just playing this one game, I'll just spend a couple of dollars to get this thing really quick. And I've been guilty of that before where, like I spend some money on it and I play it for a little bit more and then I just stop playing it, like haven't played it since. And, I can't think of specific examples, but there have definitely been a lot of, I guess War Thunder maybe, cause that's the same thing. And I haven't played that in so long, but yeah, I did put some money into that game to get some of the higher level planes and stuff. And yeah, it's just not, it like kind of going back to what I said earlier on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. I want to be a little more smart with where my money's going as far as video games. And that's just not a very responsible thing to do, is just sink some money into a game that you're never going to play again. Where something like, Dying Light, I went and bought that the other day, but I bought an actual CD copy. So when I'm done with it, I can trade it in for the next thing. And you can't, I feel like a lot of the free to play games, it's just like a black hole that you sink your money into and you're not getting any really substantial return out of it.
It's a black hole that disguises itself as something like good. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It does suck you in. It's like, oh man, what is that? I forget. Don't worry about that part. But it's basically like quicksand. You see it, you think it's good, and then you step on it and you're sucked in. That's how I feel about it. So, I read a lot of stuff about like video game addiction and stuff. And so it really kind of convicted me of actually playing those really anymore. I've just missed out. Like I've put hundreds of hours into games and I've developed good friendships through, playing Xbox and stuff. But at the same time, I have to remember that I have a family, that I have other things to do with my life. I have, it's not just about playing that video game. So like that's where it becomes a black hole for me. And so like I just can't. That's why I really struggle with playing a free to play model now.
Yeah, that reminds me. I have a wife. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
What happens?
But yeah, something with the free to play platform, just with most games, I feel like, okay, I guess it's kind of how Destiny is becoming. It's the same old game, and maybe you're buying new stuff for in game, but if the game is 2 years old, I'm not going to keep playing it. Like, I'm sorry. But just because you're trying to get me to buy things to make me keep playing it, and a lot of people do buy things in game to keep playing it, just to add a different, style or variety to it. But
well, I don't know. I kind of think of Destiny a little bit differently, and I think I've said this before. Is the whole plan of Destiny was this 10-year model where they would continually release this new content. And I'll be honest, I haven't played Destiny in a long time, but I've been keeping up with it. I've read articles about it, stuff like that, and they are constantly trying to change how things work, and they're seeing what they can improve, because it is a little bit different than a lot of other things that are released. So if Destiny, I don't think really baits you as far as that goes. I mean, you as a Destiny player need to understand what it's all about in order to get into it. But I mean,
I understand that game sucks.
A lot of people can disagree on that, but I think Destiny is a little different. I mean, it has a lot of similarity to some of the other stuff, but I don't think it is really the same.
This is why I think it is the same. You get on every week. There's a weekly update, a weekly refresh, new level. But you're doing the same old things. You're like, you have 3 characters that you can do it on. You're like, I want that exotic weapon. I want that exotic armor. Everything is repeated. And so that's why I think it is, because it's, you do something on the hardest difficulty possible, and then you go back and do it on a little bit lower difficulty, and then you go back and do, like, if you're doing the daily, you're doing everything like that, you have to, you have to invest a lot of time into it. And I think the national average is still like 3 million players or whatever it is. There's like 3 hours a day that they're averaging on Destiny still. And I mean, I know when I was playing Destiny, I was playing like, 5-6 hours at a time myself.
Oh, me too.
Like,
me too. I'm not denying
and so like, and that's where I just think that I get baited in, because if I'm going to play it, I want to go, I mean, I'm trying to invest my time well, and I want to get a good gun or something like that. So I'm going to go do the missions that get me good stuff and go do the raid, but it's all a repeating circle.
They bait you into time, but they don't bait you into more money. I mean, unless you wanted to buy the DLC, which...
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's a little bit different than just paying like $1 here, $3 there for this little thing to just advance it a little bit. I mean, the DLC in Destiny it's big content. It changes a lot about the game. It adds a lot to it. I mean, people can choose to like it or dislike it, but it's not the same as the little kind of nickel and dime stuff that a lot of the other ones do.
I gotcha. I see what you're saying. Unless you say time is money, but then the investment's a little different.
I've pretty much exhausted my thought on that. How about you guys?
No, wait. What was I gonna say? I think that it's crazy now that looking at that platform and then like console games, I never really realized how bad console games are for making you also buy in-game content to keep playing.
It's terrible. Like, you pay $60 for a game, and it's got...
I mean, I see it, but I don't think about it. But now that I'm thinking about it, like Battlefield 4, you can buy the shortcuts for all the classes, and you can buy...
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it, but yeah, it's pretty...
Same thing in Assassin's Creed. You can buy... In Unity, it was so bad. You can buy...
I guess...
like the better weapons with real money. There is a lot of the microtransaction stuff going on with games on the console, and I really, really don't like that. Like, it's one thing to do it on a free game that's totally free. It's another thing to do it on a game that you paid a good amount of money for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you buying a game for $60 and then the content to purchase in game equals out to more than $60, that's ridiculous.
And that's why I like Destiny more than a lot of the other ones, because Destiny doesn't do that. At least.
All right, stop. You're done.
Well, I paid $35 early to get content that I didn't even know what I was getting. Like so I ended up spending $95 on that game before. I don't know. I just feel like
I did too.
The money
but, I mean, it's the same thing with every game now has DLC, and that's different than the microtransactions.
Right.
You can buy. Halo has map packs. Call of Duty has map packs. Battlefield has Battlefield Premium, and you can choose to do that or just buy the maps themselves. But it's all that is different than paying a couple of dollars here and there in the game to unlock something really fast.
Right. Like, just kind of, I guess it's kind of like, I don't know, like Farmville when you can, buy like 2,000 coins for 20 real dollars.
Or spend like 20 hours to get that amount in the game.
Yep.
Right.
But yeah.
So I guess what it comes down to.
There are a lot of games that are doing that now. I mean, Assassin's Creed Unity is an example. Taylor said Battlefield. What are some other ones? There's been a lot within, I'd say, the past probably year and a half, 2 years. It seems like every single game coming out has something like that. And I hope that trend doesn't. I mean, I really hope people don't buy into that. I've never done a microtransaction thing. Well, I can't say I've never have, because I have done it on Mass Effect 3, the multiplayer, where you could get, that was back when they had Microsoft points. You could spend Microsoft points and get like a battle pack type thing that Battlefield has and unlock characters or whatever. And I did kind of get a little carried away with that. But since then, I kind of realized my mistake. And since then, I haven't done that with anything else as far as the microtransactions.
I remember buying Dr. Pepper and stuff for Battlefield Bad Company 2. Yeah, you could put in a code off your bottle cap. I was into that.
Yeah, so like that's how like Mountain Dew always sponsors Call of Duty for like the double experience when it would come out and stuff like that.
But I mean, that stuff, I'd be stupid to say that it's going to go away because I know it's not, but I hope that it does. I hope
it's not going to, because in the long run it's about money, Christian, so it's never going to go away.
Yeah, I know, but I hope people don't do that. I hope more games do like Evolve's doing. A lot of people have been hating on Evolve because you pay $15 to unlock a monster and some other characters, but every single player gets the new maps when they release, and they can choose.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what?
What?
Hey, we'll see if that's true when it happens. So I don't want to make any assumptions.
I guess we'll see that on Tuesday.
It's just a gamble, because it's like, hey, pay this money up front because you don't know what the maps are going to... Like, I could pay it up front because I'm, like, excited about it, but then I hate the game.
Right, exactly. And that's what happened to me with Destiny. I didn't even get to play the DLC.
Well,
so...
Yeah.
Oh, okay, can I bring up a thought?
Yeah,
yes.
Well, I pre-ordered Xenoverse. I don't know if the game's gonna be good or not when it comes out. I don't know, and I'm hearing they're gonna make DLC for it later. And I don't even know if it'd be worth getting that DLC in the mix with that game.
They always, like, when you go to GameStop, they always ask you, hey, do you want to get the season pass when you're buying a game? And I've definitely pre-ordered tons of games. Like, that's usually what I do. But like I said the other week, I'm kind of going to stop doing that until I see a lot of reviews. But, I mean, every single game, they get you on the season, or try to get you on the season pass as soon as the game releases. And I've never really been a big fan of DLC. I bought the Destiny DLC, but before that, I can't really remember the last time I did. I mean, maybe it was probably on some Call of Duty I bought a map pack. Maybe,
but like,
I was gonna say the good DLC I bought was for a couple other good games, Arkham City, Gears. Like, Tyler got me the season pass for Gears 3 for Christmas, and that was a good thing. Like, I got a lot of stuff. I got some action for later for a while, and then got a little bit boring, but pretty much it was still good. I still had fun. I kind of wish there was more besides weapon skins for Gears 3. Like, 4 map packs.
But, well, with it, like, I guess like, with Tanner, it could be talking about the, like, Dragon Ball Z. Let's say you went and reserved it, and they're like, if if you pay $20, you can also get every Super Saiyan form for every character. And you're like, oh yeah, that's awesome because I love Dragon Ball Z. And then you go home and play the game and you just spent the money on it, right? Guess what? The game sucks so bad, you don't even want to play it enough to use those characters. So you've already lost money.
Yeah.
More than you would have lost. And I know that happens. And that might happen with Evolve. Just games like that. I just don't think that.
Well, people just need to be responsible with, like, if I play a game and I don't absolutely love it by the time the DLC comes out, I'm not going to buy the DLC. Like, I'm not going to buy a DLC just up front because I like the game. Like, even with something like Halo, where I know that I'm going to like playing, I'm not going to buy the DLC up front because I don't know about it yet. And Destiny's really been the only one that I've done that with, because, and even so, I didn't buy the season pass when it came out. I bought it a little bit later on after I had played it a ton and said, yeah, I probably like the DLC for this. But generally, at least for me personally, I don't really buy into that, but there are definitely, I'm sure, tons and tons of people who do.
I think there is benefits to it, but overall, we have to address that there are a lot of negatives to the model that are presented. I mean, you know, if you like the game and you like the content, at the end of the day, it was a good purchase, but there's a lot of risk involved.
It really is just a big gamble, I guess. I guess at the end of the day, it's people know what your money is going to, I suppose, is what.
Yeah, ultimately, people are responsible for what they're spending. But I really do hope that companies kind of change where they go with how they do things. Like, I think EA Access is a pretty revolutionary thing that they've come out with. And we haven't played it yet, but they did release one of the DLC packs for free on EA Access for Battlefield 4. And I do hope more game companies do that, because I really feel like that is a good value. But there needs to be more stuff like that and less just release a game, spend $60 on it, and then pay nickel and dime here, $15-20 here to get just a little bit of extra content. But I do think that stuff, it is going to be more, I don't know what the word is. It'll definitely be more of that kind of stuff out there on this new console generation, I do think. So people do really need to kind of be careful with what they're spending their money on.
Yeah, I think that something I've kind of like failed to address, I think we've all touched on it, but maybe not completely, is the good side to the free-to-play model is if you're wise with your money and you just have that one character you want, you've invested $10 in your game and you've played it and you've enjoyed it and that's it. Like, I mean, there is an advantage to it in that way if that's all you do.
Right.
Like, I think that I don't know if we've given enough credit to the people making the game. That, I mean, they're not all out to be evil and take your money. There are companies that are, you know, definitely into taking your money, but it's just like there's a part of it where these guys are creating a game and they're allowing players to do it their way.
Well, for sure. I mean, I mean, it's a business. They have to make money, so they're saying, hey, this is working, so let's keep doing this. And it's not their fault if people get carried away with it. And like I said, there are games that have done it really well. League of Legends is probably the biggest example in my head that I can think of. But I'm sure there are plenty of others that have done that model and done it well to where they don't bait you into spending the money, but they make you want to spend the money because the game itself is so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's no excuse to release kind of a mediocre game and then release a mediocre game for free and then make people pay a little bit of money here, there to get better stuff to enjoy the game more. The game should be an enjoyable experience right out of the box. And then if people love the game, they want to spend more time on it, then they'll spend the money on it if they choose to do so.
Agreed.
I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, I think we've touched on everything that we could possibly touch on.
I guess it's for the financial piece podcast.
Yeah, it really has
We
Yeah.
are
been.
the Dave Ramsey podcast. Dave Ramsey for gaming.
Yeah, make sure to budget, have a good savings account.
Yeah, see, Tanner knows what's up.
Invest in your Roth IRA, like
Yes,
have a 401k, kids. Make sure
for your video games.
investing. Yeah. Oh wow.
That interests you.
Yeah.
Either way.
Don't go maxing out your credit cards. I think we covered all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have. Dude,
So,
speaking
yeah.
of credit cards, have you guys seen the GameStop credit card?
Yes, it
Oh.
charged.
The worst idea ever.
Yeah, that
I think the power card is more beneficial for GameStop than that.
Well, definitely. I mean, that is like the worst case of baiting, like money baiting that I think I've ever seen.
yeah, it would.
I don't know anything about it, but we don't have to talk about it. I'll just look it up. But
All right,
Well,
yeah,
this will
I'll
probably-
just say
this-
this real
This
quick.
is gonna be like an outro, I guess.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'll just say this real quick. It's a great idea if they don't charge like 17-18% interest or something like that, and it just
holy crap!
it skyrockets. Like, I mean,
Dude, it's
these are
like-
kids.
It's like
These are
20
kids here.
It's like 25% interest.
Yeah, it is. It's something ridiculous. It's amazing that, and they're trying to sell that to 18-year-old kids like
Yeah.
who have no idea. I mean, it's just dumb. But that is a different podcast for a different day. You can check out Dave Ramsey's podcast, and that'll be it, man. That was pretty sweet.
I think we definitely filled the time up on that one. Didn't spend a whole lot of time doing it either.
I feel like
that
that
was
was
that,
where.
yeah. Wait, I thought that was a good podcast. Yeah.